Keep on moving, don't stop grooving.
Come on now, there's nothing to it. 8 K's here, gonna help you through it.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop grooving.
This video is for parents of children aged from 1 to 5 years old. In the video, we hope to give you some tips on dealing with food refusal and fussy eating. It does not include information on the introduction of solids or specific dietary concerns such as food allergy and intolerance.
Sharing your life with a child can be one of the most amazing and rewarding experiences of your life. But when it comes to food and eating, frustration is a word that often springs to mind for many parents.
Sometimes I get frustrated, but most of the time I'll just try him on some different things, and if he won't eat, I'll wait till the next meal time.
Well, I found it quite frustrating initially, but then I realised it was part of her developmental stage that she was in.
Frustrated. I get a bit annoyed because he takes his food and then spits it out, knowing that it's not the food that he doesn't like, it's just a habit he's gotten into because of his age.
I don't have that problem because my children eat everything, whatever I cook.
I feel very frustrated. Take a lot of time to prepare a meal and then they don't want to eat it. So yeah, it's very frustrating.
Because I know that if I get frustrated, he just digs his heels in and then we get nowhere. So I actually try just to really downplay it and ignore it as much as possible.
Frustrated, disappointed. I've cooked a beautiful meal and gone to a lot of effort, and then they refuse it. It makes you feel unhappy.
Well, it makes it really difficult to get through the rest of the day, and you've got to worry about whether it's a lunch or whether it's a dinner, and then what do we make up later on. So it does make things very, very difficult, and you're worried that they're not getting the right amount of nutrition.
I try not to feel frustrated, but sometimes I do. The main thing is that I try to understand why he's not eating.
When your child refuses to eat or drink, it's important to remember that this is a common experience for many families and a normal part of growing.
In this video, when we are talking about food refusal, we mean the behaviour often shown by children as part of growing up. We are not talking about babies who can react in different ways when first having solid foods. Some will gag, turn their heads away and make faces, but this is a natural response and not the type of behaviour we are talking about in this video.
Parents may expect their child to eat more than they actually need. Between the age of 1 and 3 years, a child's growth rate slows down, and so too does their appetite. A child's appetite may vary from meal to meal and day to day. Some parents notice that one child may eat more or less than any of their other children did at the same age. They're all unique little bodies. Don't worry if food intake varies from one day to the next. It usually evens out over the week.
Remember too that there are many other reasons a young child may not show much interest in food. This is a time that your child is asserting their independence.
It's also an exciting time for your child. They will learn through exploring their surroundings. Sometimes there is little time for a busy child to eat. Sitting in one place eating for long periods is not likely to hold their interest.
My favourite food is cherries. My favourite food is spaghetti. My favourite food is tomato. My favourite food is peaches. My favourite food is sausage. My favourite food is garlic. Watermelon. Apple. Mashed potatoes. Strawberry and apple. Banana. Cereal.
If your child is growing well, full of energy and happy, then you have no need to worry about them not getting enough to eat. However, if you're worried about their growth or general level of health, it's always a good idea to consult a child health nurse at your local health centre or your family doctor.
Let's talk about sharing food tasks with your child. As a parent, your job is to provide a wide variety of nutritious foods for your child to eat each day. This means providing breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner and supper each day.
Involve your child in mealtimes by offering a limited number of healthy choices and allow them to decide which food they would like to eat. It is also up to you to decide when to serve meals and snacks, keeping in mind small tummies need regular refueling. But remember, it's up to your child to decide whether or not to eat and how much of that food they will eat. Children know when they are hungry and full. If you try to override this natural instinct, they will learn not to trust their appetite. One of the best ways to deal with food refusal is simply to ignore it. Calmly remove your child's plate without a fuss. Remember, parents and carers should be consistent with their approach. Try not to get angry, force feed or bribe your child to eat. This will only encourage the food refusal behaviour in the long run. Think about the reasons why your child hasn't eaten well. If it is because they are simply not hungry or too tired, offer to reserve the meal or snack at a later time. If it is because they are testing you out and they arrive back saying they are hungry soon after, then offer to serve up the meal or snack they just passed up on, or tell them to wait until the next meal or snack. If you are consistent with this, your child will soon learn these boundaries. You may be tempted to give them some other food or drink just for the sake of getting something in. This isn't a good idea because it will reinforce the food refusal behaviour. Sometimes foods, for example chips, lollies and chocolates, are not suitable meal substitutes. This doesn't mean you have to be a pushover. As a parent, you may decide to put a few rules in place, such as turning off the TV, sitting at the table to eat, and enjoying meals together as a family. It is not unreasonable to expect your child to behave at mealtimes. Talk to your child health nurse for ways to deal with poor behaviour.
So remember, parents decide what foods are offered and when, and children decide whether or not to eat and how much to eat.
Because children have small stomachs and short concentration spans, serve 3 small meals and 3 small snacks throughout the day.
A snack should be thought of as a mini meal and made from everyday foods such as breads, fruits, vegetables, milk foods and meat or meat alternatives. Foods such as chips, biscuits and lollies are sometimes foods and may be given occasionally, for example at a birthday party or on a special occasion. Keep meals and snacks simple, then you won't feel so annoyed if they're refused. Watch the amount of juices, milk and cordials your child is drinking. Too much can fill them up and make them less hungry. Kids find it easier and quicker to drink rather than chew food. A good rule of thumb is not to have any soft drinks or cordials in the house, and if offering juice, limit to no more than 1 glass a day. Throughout the day, offer your child 2 to 3 glasses of milk, reduced fat if they are over the age of 2 years, and the rest of the time encourage them to drink water. By the age of 1 year, children should be encouraged to drink from a cup rather than a bottle. If they keep using a bottle, they are more likely to keep the fluid sitting in their mouth or to fall asleep with the bottle in their mouth. This practice can cause tooth decay.
Children may not eat well if they're tired or meals are delayed. Follow a regular eating routine by serving meals and snacks regularly. It may help to offer them their main meal at lunchtime. Try not to hurry kids at meal times and avoid distractions such as watching TV or having toys at the table.
Sometimes when we are encouraging our children to eat a particular food, we may be giving out other messages that are not very helpful. For example, an old favourite is, if you don't eat your veggies, you can't have dessert. Well, the real message behind this is that the dessert is the reward and the chore is to eat the vegetables first.
If you have planned for your family to have dessert, then allow your child to choose how much to eat from the main and the dessert meal. Make the dessert healthy too. For example, use milk or fruit products.
Children model their eating habits on those around them, so when possible, eat with your child to show them that you enjoy eating healthy food. Try not to impose your own likes or dislikes of certain foods onto your child. Establishing good eating habits early will allow children to make their own healthy choices. Some people may use food to show love, reward, to soothe upsets, or to keep children occupied. This may teach children to eat when they are not hungry. Rather than food, give your child a cuddle or some other form of attention to show your feelings, or carry a favourite toy or book to keep children busy.
Your child will have fads with some foods and will dislike others, but don't assume that this will always be the case. Offer the foods again at another time.
Avoid making comments about your child's eating habits in front of them or making assumptions about what they will eat. They will pick up on what is said and it may discourage them from trying the food. By the age of 1 year, children can be offered the same food as the rest of the family. However, they can be more likely to choke on small hard pieces of food such as raw carrot. So provide food in an age-appropriate form and encourage your child to sit still during meal times. For example, give them grated carrot instead of pieces of carrot, or grapes cut in half instead of whole. Ask your local child health nurse about foods that are choking hazards.
It's sometimes difficult to introduce your child to a new food because children are often suspicious and reluctant to try something different. When introducing a new food, your child may need to see it 8 or 9 times before they accept it. Children will drink water if it's the main drink offered and if the family drink it too. Offering water in different ways may help. For example, you could try adding ice cubes made from groovy shapes or using fun straws. Or allow kids to serve themselves from a pump pack or favourite water bottle. Keep in mind that children's tastes will change as they grow, so keep trying foods that children have previously refused. Focus on the positives and recognise their efforts for trying new foods or foods previously rejected. When introducing a new food, try combining it with an old favourite to help with acceptance. For example, adding kidney beans to spaghetti bolognese. Including new foods at the family meal may also help children to try something new. If you lead by example and try new foods yourself, your child may be more likely to try them too. Talk about food with your child, where it comes from, how it grows, its colour, texture and flavour. Whenever possible, involve your child in shopping, gardening and food preparation. It's all part of making them familiar with food. Touching and smelling are also important ways a child learns about food, so be prepared for some mess with young children. A plastic tablecloth underneath an eating area can save a lot of bother later. Finger foods give your child more enjoyment and independence.
I encourage him to try different foods when he's hungry. Earlier in the morning I find works better, and maybe in a few different forms, make it a bit more exciting for him.
Have finger food is much more advantageous because she can then serve herself, and I also let her come into the kitchen and make the food with me.
I would say I will put the food in front of the table and let him choose what they want to eat.
Well, always make sure that the television's turned off and she always sits at the table. She likes one of her little friends or toys to watch her eat for some reason.
We usually try and encourage that's family time and our fun time with no distractions.
Making meal times fun. Making sure that we all sit down as a family.
Sometimes we get the boys to help, like us, prepare the food and help make, the different foods as well. So that helps to encourage.
If it is something that's quite different, I say that people in other countries eat this food all the time and they get quite intrigued about the country and what foods they eat.
Sometimes we talk about green eggs and ham, the Dr. Seuss book, how the character would not try the food and then ended up enjoying it.
Sometimes it really helps if you involve the kids in preparing the meal. So if you get them to make what they're about to eat, like make a pizza or make a quiche, and go and pick the lettuce or the carrots out of the gardens, then sometimes that makes them more excited about trying those foods.
Generally I just offer them to him and see if he likes them, see if he'll try them. Otherwise I'll just put different things in different recipes and just see how I go with that.
By the age of 1, children should be eating the same meal as the rest of the family.
We are all busy and life with a growing family can be hectic. So make it quick and easy on yourself by using a combination of tinned and frozen products as well as fresh produce.
Hey, you can do it. Yeah, we'll help you through it. Come on now, you're doing alright. Right. Aeropop can do it. Feel the beat and move it. Hey, we're gonna party tonight. We're gonna party, party, party. Dizzy drop now. Never gonna stop now. Wiggy, 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 wop. Shout na 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 na. Shout out loud. Move this crowd. Break it on down now. Popping on through this town. Dizzy drop now. Never gonna stop now. Wiggy, 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 wop. Shout na 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 na. Shout out loud. Move this crowd. Break it on down now. Popping on through this town.
Let's summarise some of the main points we've discussed. Food refusal is common and a normal part of growing up. A child's appetite can vary from day to day and meal to meal. Parents decide what foods are offered and when. Children decide whether or not to eat and how much to eat. Children have small appetites and short concentration spans, so serve regular small meals and snacks. Avoid sending negative messages about food and praise the positive aspects of your child's eating behaviour. Be a role model and enjoy eating healthy food with your child. Establish good eating habits early to allow your child to make their own healthy food choices. Help your child become more familiar with new foods. For additional information and individual dietary advice, please contact an accredited practicing dietitian